My name is Jake Martinez, and 6 months ago, I was just another wannabe YouTuber in Los Angeles with 847 subscribers and dreams bigger than my bank account. I lived in a cramped studio apartment in North Hollywood, working part-time at a coffee shop on Melrose Avenue, spending every free moment editing videos on my ancient MacBook that sounded like a jet engine every time I rendered footage. The apartment was a testament to my obsession, fairy lights strung around the walls to create cinematic lighting for my videos, a corner dedicated to my studio setup, which consisted of a rickety desk, a ring light I'd bought on sale for $30, and a backdrop made from a bedsheet I'd stolen from my mum's house. My neighbors probably thought I was losing my mind, hearing me record the same lines over and over again through the thin walls, trying to perfect my delivery. It was a Tuesday morning in March when everything changed. The California sun was already beating down mercilessly at 9 a.m., and I was sitting in my car outside the coffee shop, checking my phone before my shift. That's when I saw it. A comment on my latest video that would either destroy me or become the catalyst for everything I'd dreamed of. Dude, you're so overrated. 800 subs, and you think you're the next Mr. Beast? You'll never make it. Your content is basic, and your editing is trash. Just give up already. The comment had 127 likes and dozens of replies, agreeing with the original poster. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through the responses. He's right, this guy is delusional. Cringe content, unsubscribed. Stick to making coffee, bro. 2 years and still under 1K, that's embarrassing. Each word felt like a punch to the gut. I'd been grinding for 2 years, posting consistently 3 times a week, studying analytics until my eyes burned, learning new editing techniques from YouTube tutorials. And this was what I had to show for it. Public humiliation. The worst part wasn't just the criticism, it was how accurate some of it felt. My last 10 videos had averaged 200 views each. My subscriber count had been stuck in the 800s for months. I was spending more money on equipment and software than I was making from my measly ad revenue. My parents kept asking when I was going to get serious about my career, and honestly, I was starting to wonder the same thing. I walked into the coffee shop that day, feeling like the world had seen through my facade. The familiar smell of espresso and fresh pastries that usually comforted me felt suffocating. My coworker Sarah noticed immediately. She was one of those people who could read emotions like an open book, always knowing when something was wrong. We'd been working together for 8 months, and she'd become my unofficial therapist during the slow afternoon shifts. "Jake, you look like someone stole your dog and then ran over it with a truck. What happened?" she asked while tying her apron, her dark hair pulled back in the messy bun that had become her signature look. I showed her the comment thread, watching her face change from curiosity to concern, to something I couldn't quite identify. Maybe anger on my behalf. She scrolled through the responses silently, her jaw tightening with each cruel comment. When she finished, she handed me back my phone and looked me straight in the eyes with an intensity that caught me off guard. "So what are you going to do about it?" she asked. "What do you mean?" "There's nothing I can do." Maybe they're right. Maybe I should just accept that I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should focus on getting promoted to shift supervisor and forget about this YouTube dream. Sarah shook her head vigorously, her eyes flashing with the kind of determination I wished I could feel about my own life. "Jake, I've watched your videos, all of them. They're good. Not perfect, but good. You know what the difference is between people who make it and people who don't? The ones who make it use criticism as fuel instead of poison." The lunch rush hit us hard that day, but Sarah's words kept echoing in my mind. Between serving overpriced lattes to aspiring actors and Instagram influencers, I found myself thinking about every successful YouTuber I admired. They all had one thing in common. They'd been counted out at some point. Mr. Beast was rejected by countless brands before he exploded. PewDiePie was called annoying and unwatchable. Even Emma Chamberlain faced criticism for her chaotic editing style before it became her signature. That evening, I sat in my tiny apartment, staring at my reflection in the black screen of my turned-off computer. The walls were covered with printouts of my analytics, video ideas scribbled on sticky notes in different colored pens, and motivational quotes I'd collected over the years. One quote from Walt Disney stood out: "All the adversity I've had in my life, all my troubles and obstacles have strengthened me." I made a decision that night that would change everything. Instead of letting that comment crush me, I was going to use it as the foundation for the biggest challenge of my YouTube career. I was going to prove them wrong, and I was going to do it in the most viral way possible. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in months. I had exactly $127 in my checking account, a camera that was 3 generations behind current technology, and an idea that was either genius or completely insane. I was going to create the most engaging, highest quality video I'd ever made, and I was going to do it with almost no budget. But here's the catch: I was going to document the entire process and prove that talent and determination could overcome expensive equipment and big budgets. My video concept was simple but ambitious. Recreating viral YouTube trends with zero budget. Can I get 100K views in 24 hours? I would take the most popular viral trends from the past month, the dance challenges, the food hacks, the comedy skits, the reaction videos, and recreate them using creativity instead of cash. The research phase was intense. I spent the entire day analyzing the algorithm, studying what made content go viral. I discovered that the most successful videos shared common elements. They hooked viewers within the first 3 seconds. They created emotional investment quickly. They had multiple wow moments throughout, and they ended with a call to action that felt natural, not forced. I analyzed the top trending videos, broke down their common elements, studied their thumbnails, their titles, their pacing, their use of music, their editing rhythm. I filled 3 notebooks with observations, timing breakdowns, and strategic notes. The coffee shop was dead that afternoon, so Sarah let me use the back office to plan, bringing me endless cups of coffee and occasionally peering over my shoulder at my growing pile of research. "You're really doing this, aren't you?" she said, bringing me my 4th cup of coffee and a blueberry muffin she'd snagged from the day-old pastry tray. "I have to." That comment yesterday, it wasn't just about my content. It was about every time someone told me I wasn't good enough, every time I doubted myself, every time I almost gave up. This is bigger than YouTube now. This is about proving that I can turn my worst moment into my best opportunity. The first challenge was recreating a popular dance trend that had been filmed in expensive locations with professional lighting and backup dancers. I had my apartment hallway and the fluorescent lights from the building's corridor. Instead of fighting the limitations, I decided to embrace them. I would film at different times of day, using natural light from the windows, creating a time-lapse effect that showed the passage of time. I recruited my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Chen, to be my backup dancer. She was initially confused but became enthusiastic when I explained the project. For the food hack segment, instead of using expensive ingredients like the original video, I went to the dollar store and bought random items, challenging myself to create something that looked gourmet. The absurdity of trying to make caviar from tapioca pearls and black food coloring, or attempting to recreate a $50 restaurant dish using ramen noodles and creativity, became comedy gold. I filmed myself failing spectacularly, then succeeding against all odds, creating a narrative arc within each mini-challenge. The comedy skit was the hardest part. Most viral skits had multiple actors, elaborate setups, and perfect timing. I had myself, my phone, and a mirror. So I created a conversation between myself and my reflection, discussing the pressure of social media and the fear of failure. It was meta, vulnerable, and surprisingly funny. The mirror became my co-star, representing my inner critic, my doubts, and eventually my support system. But the real magic happened during the editing process. I had learned that the most viral videos shared one crucial element: They made people feel something within the first 3 seconds. So I started my video with the comment that had sparked this entire journey, reading it aloud while looking directly into the camera, my voice steady despite the storm of emotions I was feeling. Someone told me I was overrated and would never make it. Today, I'm going to prove them wrong in 18 minutes or less. I worked for 16 hours straight, fueled by determination and way too much caffeine. My ancient MacBook protested with every effect I added, every transition I crafted, every audio adjustment I made. The fans sounded like a helicopter, and I had to render the video in sections to prevent overheating. But I pushed through, knowing that this video was my shot at proving that success wasn't about having the best equipment. It was about having the best story. I uploaded the video at 6 a.m. on a Thursday, exactly 1 week after receiving that crushing comment. I'd spent my last $20 promoting it on social media, creating teaser clips for TikTok and Instagram, and reaching out to every small YouTuber I knew, asking them to share it. I'd crafted the perfect thumbnail, a split screen of me looking defeated with the hate comment visible, and me looking determined with the text, "Watch me prove them wrong." The first hour was brutal. 12 views, 3 likes, 1 comment from my mom saying, "So proud of you, honey." I sat in the coffee shop during my morning shift, obsessively refreshing my analytics page, watching the numbers crawl upward with agonizing slowness. Every notification sound made my heart jump, hoping it was a sign that the video was gaining traction. "Stop checking it every 5 minutes," Sarah advised as she restocked the pastry case. "Watched pots never boil. Plus, you're going to drive yourself crazy." But I couldn't help myself. This video represented everything I'd worked for, every late night, every dollar spent on equipment instead of food, every time I'd chosen to edit instead of going out with friends. If this failed, I wasn't sure I had the emotional strength to keep going. By lunch, I had 147 views and 23 likes. Respectable for my channel, but nowhere near viral territory. I was starting to accept that maybe my big gamble hadn't paid off when my phone started buzzing with notifications I'd never seen before. The notification sound was different. It was the sound of comments pouring in faster than I could read them. Someone with 50,000 Twitter followers had shared my video with the caption, "This guy turned hate into motivation and created something incredible with zero budget. This is what hustle looks like. Everyone needs to see this." Within minutes, my video was being shared across multiple platforms by people I'd never heard of, people who had somehow connected with my story. The domino effect was incredible to witness in real time. A TikTok creator with 200,000 followers stitched my opening moment, adding her own commentary about overcoming negativity. A Facebook group dedicated to supporting small creators featured my video as their post of the day. Reddit users on multiple subreddits were discussing the creative solutions I'd used to work around budget constraints. By 3 p.m., I had 15,000 views and climbing fast. The comments section was exploding with positivity. "This is why I love YouTube. Real creativity over expensive production. You proved that talent beats budget every time." That opening gave me chills. Subscribed immediately. The shift in energy was palpable. Instead of fighting for every view, views were fighting to get to me. The best part was watching my subscriber count climb in real time. YouTube's subscriber counter couldn't keep up with the influx. I'd started the day with 847 subscribers, and by closing time at the coffee shop, I had over 3,000. Sarah was refreshing my channel on her phone, calling out the numbers every few minutes like a sports announcer. 4,200, 4,500. "Jake, you're at 5,000 subscribers. Oh my God, 6,000. This is insane." But the real validation came from an unexpected source. The original commenter, the one who had called me overrated, posted a new comment on my viral video. "Okay, I was wrong. This video is actually fire. Respect for turning my hate into motivation. You didn't just prove me wrong, you proved that I don't know what I'm talking about." Subbed. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because I was stressed, but because I was energized in a way I'd never experienced. My phone was constantly lighting up with notifications, new subscribers, collaboration requests, brands reaching out about sponsorships. The video hit 50,000 views by midnight and showed no signs of slowing down. I realized that going viral wasn't just about the numbers or the recognition. It was about proving to myself that I could turn my lowest moment into my greatest triumph. Every view represented someone who had connected with my story, someone who had felt that same sting of being underestimated. 3 weeks later, my video had reached 2.3 million views. I had gained 180,000 subscribers, and my life had completely transformed. But the real success wasn't in the numbers. It was in the messages I received daily from other creators who had found courage in my story. Your video inspired me to start my channel after years of being scared. I was about to quit YouTube, but watching your journey reminded me why I started. Thank you for showing that authenticity beats perfection every time. I got my first 1,000 subscribers after applying your zero-budget techniques. The financial impact was immediate and life-changing. Sponsors were offering me more money for a single video than I used to make in 3 months at the coffee shop. I was able to quit my part-time job, move to a bigger apartment with actual space for a proper studio setup, and invest in better equipment. But more importantly, I had proven that success on YouTube wasn't about having advantages. It was about maximizing whatever resources you had. Sarah and I celebrated at the same coffee shop where I'd read that crushing comment just a month earlier. We sat at the same table where I'd shown her my phone with shaking hands, but everything had changed. The other employees kept recognizing me, asking for selfies, wanting to know about my secret to going viral. "You know what I'm most proud of," she said, raising her coffee cup in a toast. "You didn't just prove them wrong, you proved yourself right. You believed in your potential even when no one else did." The original video that had started this journey now seemed like a relic from another lifetime. Looking back, I could see every mistake, every area where I could have improved. But those imperfections made the viral video's success even more meaningful. I hadn't won because I was perfect. I'd won because I was persistent. The hate comment that had devastated me was now pinned at the top of my channel, not as a reminder of negativity, but as proof that our biggest obstacles can become our greatest opportunities. I'd learned that being underestimated was actually an advantage. It lowered expectations and made the comeback even more powerful. 6 months later, I launched my own course, teaching other creators how to make viral content with limited resources. The first lesson was always the same. Your biggest limitation is also your biggest creative opportunity. Today, my channel has over 500,000 subscribers, and that 18-minute video remains my most popular content. But more than the success, more than the money, more than the recognition, I'm proud that I turned a moment of crushing defeat into the foundation of everything I dreamed of building. Every time a new creator reaches out, sharing their own story of being told they're not good enough, I think back to that Tuesday morning when I almost gave up. I tell them what Sarah told me. The difference between people who make it and people who don't isn't talent or luck or resources. It's the willingness to use criticism as fuel instead of poison. The person who called me overrated was right about one thing. I wasn't ready then, but they were wrong about my potential. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is someone betting against you because it forces you to bet on yourself harder than you ever have before. That's the real secret to going viral. Don't create content to prove others wrong. Create content to prove yourself right. The audience can feel the difference, and authenticity is the one thing that algorithms can't fake. In 18 minutes, I didn't just prove a hater wrong. I discovered who I really was when everything was on the line. And that discovery was worth more than any number of views, subscribers, or dollars could ever be.